There's something happening behind the scenes in Minnesota that's not being talked about enough, and it's time we address it head on. Not just the wins and losses, not just the scoreboard, but the system, the foundation of what this team is trying to build, and whether it's starting to crack. Kevin O'Connell, hailed as one of the brightest offensive minds in the NFL, is suddenly facing a storm that even he might not have seen coming. And Vikings fans, what if I told you the problems aren't just about execution, but about philosophy? But before we go into the details, click the like button if you've been a fan for over 20 years and write in the comments, SKOL Vikings. Let's dive in. We've heard it all offseason. This team was supposed to become tougher, more physical. The Vikings were building toward a gritty, downhill identity. But through the first 2 weeks of the season, that vision looks more like a mirage than a mission. The quick passing game? Virtually non-existent. The run game? A shadow of what we were promised. And that's just the beginning. When you have a young quarterback like J.J. McCarthy making his first 2 NFL starts, on prime time, no less, the least you can do is help him settle in. Instead, what we saw was the exact opposite. O'Connell ran only 3 quick game pass concepts this season. 3. For clarity, those are routes that break it under 7 yards, designed to get the ball out quickly, protect your QB, and neutralize a collapsing pocket. 3 quick passes. And this isn't just about game flow. This is about ignoring the obvious. Your quarterback is under siege, literally. J.J. McCarthy was pressured on 53.3% of his snaps during Sunday Night Football. The offensive line was collapsing. The nation watched it. And yet, no shift in strategy. No quick hits. No adjustments. Instead, we saw deep drops and long-developing routes like it was a 7-on-7 drill in July. Here's what makes it worse. Since the beginning of 2023, the Vikings ranked dead last in quick game attempts per game, 2.7 attempts. Meanwhile, they lead the entire NFL in deep drop plays with over 30 attempts per game. That's not just a tendency, it's a trend. And it's one that might sink this offense if left unchecked. Wes Phillips tried to explain it away with some classic coach speak, emphasizing footwork, timing, and decision-making as reasons for avoiding the quick game. But let's be real, when your quarterback is running for his life and your line is leaking like a sieve, it's not about perfect footwork, it's about survival. And it's not like the Vikings don't have the talent to make it work. You've got Justin Jefferson, arguably the best route runner in football. He's been targeted only 13 times in 2 weeks. That's not just underutilization, that's borderline negligence. If other teams can scheme touches for guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown or Bijan Robinson, why can't O'Connell do it for Jefferson? And speaking of offensive weapons, let's talk about the run game, or what's left of it. We spent the entire offseason hearing how the Vikings were gearing up to run the ball harder, stronger, more consistently. Yet through 2 games, it's more of the same, pass-heavy, finesse football. Under O'Connell, Minnesota has finished in the top 20 in rushing just once, last year, and they barely squeaked in at 19th. Only once have they averaged over 100 rushing yards per game during his tenure. But now the excuses are gone. This team has invested in the offensive line. They brought in Jordan Mason, a bruiser of a back. Yet Mason isn't getting the touches. The Vikings are abandoning the run the moment it falters. It's predictable. It's avoidable. And it's unacceptable, especially with a backup quarterback under center and key injuries stacking up. And let's be honest, if Mason doesn't get at least 20 carries this weekend against the Bengals, fans have every right to be furious. You're down Aaron Jones. J.J. McCarthy is sidelined. Jordan Addison's out. You're on your 3rd string left tackle. If ever there was a time to lean on the run game, it's now. This upcoming stretch might define Kevin O'Connell's legacy as a play caller. Can he adapt? Can he evolve beyond the fastball-slider combo he's relied on for too long? Or will his inability to go to that 3rd pitch, that short game, that ground attack, cost the Vikings another season of potential? So, Vikings fans, let's hear it from you. What do you think is the one major change the Vikings need to make right now? Is it scheme? Personnel? Play calling? Drop your takes in the comments below. And if the tactical and strategic problems weren't enough, the medical department also became the protagonist of a drama that threatened the rhythm and psychology of this squad. The injury list reads like an entire training sheet. Key players are coming and going from the lineup as if it were a never-ending carousel. And when all you need is stability, chaos ensues. Starting with this franchise's biggest hope, J.J. McCarthy. The rookie quarterback appeared in a walking boot, something that raised more than a few questions about his condition. Kevin O'Connell insisted that he's only in the early stages of recovery and that his progress is positive. But let's face it, a walking boot isn't trivial. Even with optimism, it's hard not to consider the possibility of a return only in Week 5 against the Browns, or even after the Week 6 bye. And meanwhile, conspiracy theories are growing. Shadow benching, as many suggest? It's hard to believe, but the mere fact of this narrative existing shows how McCarthy's situation raises more questions than answers. And amidst the distrust, the torturer cries out for transparency. Is it really an injury, or institutional protection? But JJ isn't the only name shrouded in uncertainty. The possible return of Christian Darrisaw, one of the league's best left tackles, has become a soap opera. He participated in practice, and O'Connell was clear, we'll see where he is. But until Darrisaw actually lines up for the opening snap, the feeling is one of eternal hope. And without him, the offensive line suffers a lot. Harrison Smith, the defense's spiritual leader, is also in wait-and-see mode. Even with limited practice, there's a chance he'll return. But again, with a history of injuries, caution is a priority. The same goes for Andrew Van Ginkel, who, despite being restricted from contact during practice, has a good chance of playing against the Bengals, a key element for a defensive system that's finally starting to find its feet. On offense, the absence of Jordan Addison further complicates the game plan. And when we add that to the patched-up offensive line, the backup center, and the running back who's become an emergency starter, the scenario isn't just challenging, it's critical. The pressure on Kevin O'Connell has never been higher. There are no more excuses. The time to experiment with adaptation and leadership is now. And if there's a light at the end of the tunnel, it's Jordan Mason. The coach has publicly stated that he has complete confidence in him as a bell cow back. And truly, it's time to stop trying new things. First down on the 2-yard line? Hand the ball off 4 times in a row. No tricks. No frills. Simple. Physical. Vikings football. This upcoming matchup against the Bengals is more than just a game. It's a turning point. The defense is starting to restructure. The offense needs to show its response. And above all, Kevin O'Connell needs to prove he can lead this group even in the eye of the storm. Now it's up to you, fans. Comment below, do you still believe Kevin O'Connell is the right man to lead the Vikings? Will he turn this game around? Or is it time for a major change at the helm? If you enjoyed this content, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell so you don't miss any updates, and share this video with that friend who also loves Vikings. And remember, here, we don't hold anything back. You'll hear the locker room truth first with us. Until next time, and as always, SKOL Vikings!